So let's talk about sex, baby.
Hey,
It's
wow.
Avery. Our theme song. I should like find that and play
And Jannah B.
it. But so hey everybody, it's Jannah and who's that?
And it's Avery.
Hey, so today for let's talk about sex, I thought this morning about talking about the effects of viewing sex as sinful. Because I had talked about before my upbringing as Christian and Muslim, and that really played a part in the way that I viewed my behavior around sex, and now my beliefs about the way I view sex have changed. So I wanted to talk more about it, and I like recorded stuff so that I wouldn't forget what I wanted to say. But a lot of things came to mind. So, um, but did anything come to your mind that you like wanted to
That
start?
was so when you told me that was what was on your mind, and that was the topic on your mind. That really hit home because like you said, I was raised in a Christian home, and it was almost like a no-go. It was just an automatic no, and it wasn't even discussed like I feel like it should be.
Mm-hmm.
As normal as it is now that we're adults, it was kind of just like sex is just not a topic that we're going to talk about, and you'll figure it out on your own, which I did. Which in turn, I feel like that's why I think I went through some of the issues in dealing with sex and how to react around it and with people,
Mm-hmm.
because I never had any guidance really around what it should look like, other than you shouldn't do it until you get married. And I don't think, I mean, that's clearly not realistic. I mean, we've all grown up, and I think I can count on one hand the amount of people who I know who are still adults and still virgins. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of just like, where do we get in society that we kind of break down those norms of not talking and not discussing things,
Mm-hmm.
or just sex being so taboo, and it being called a sin or something that we shouldn't do?
So you brought like you put in quotes around sin made me think of like I wrote down, I didn't write it down yet, but I was saying I need to define what a sin is,
Mm,
because for me what it meant was that I'm doing something that is disobedient to God, and um I'm so whatever, but sin also is, um if you commit it, you get punished, and the severity of the punishment. Now in Islam, like what I was learning, it really scarred me, and it really like scared me, and it made me not want to have sex out of fear.
right.
And when I did, it made me feel horrible about myself, because I had tainted myself and lost my prestigious status of virgin
Mhm.
according to Islam and Christianity. Now, like, did I lose my place in heaven type of fear, and it really and then so it made it difficult for me to go to the masjid, to the mosque, because they were telling me what how I will be punished for
Right.
it. And then family members would tell me how I would be punished for fornicating, and how it was such a huge sin and an affront to God. That's what I learned that sin is. It's like you are offending your creator, and I don't believe that I can do something that offends my creator like that. For me, what sin is has changed now. The definition of what I think a sin is has changed, but I wanted to look it up to give, I guess, a basis for what I was like thinking about sin. So I'm just looking it up now.
Okay. So,
But
but
go ahead.
just to add, I totally agree. And I think for me, it was almost like a double negative, right? Like, don't have sex, but the fact that you want to have sex with men is
Mm-hmm.
also like, it's
Mm-hmm.
really not even talked about.
The sex
And
and the type of sex.
right.
Yeah.
So I always felt like, okay, well, I can't let anybody know about this, or I can't let this get out or be, I guess, known to my family or to the public, because I'm gonna be ousted, or I'm going to hell, or like you said, there's some major consequences for having sex, and then the type of sex that I want to have. So
yeah, and then so it also shaped how I viewed nudity and showing my body. I remember this man told me, like, when he was at a gas station, and when he found out that I was Muslim, like, I think that at one point, like, that was when I had covered my hair, and he told me that if I didn't cover my body, God wasn't gonna cover me. And I was like, is that really what you believe? And then I thought about, like, what I was taught, that part of that is what I was taught, that if you don't cover your body, then God will not cover you, which I think is like a crazy thing for a child, because I was young when my mom converted to from Christianity to Islam. And I started hearing some really crazy things that started shaping my view of who I was in my body. And then from a Christianity standpoint, the creation of my body itself is a sinful creation.
right.
I just don't so the definition was an immoral act considered to be a transgression against divine law. And that's like whatever the first thing Google pulled up. I don't know who Google used, but you know how it pops up, like, with the
Right, right.
But that's what and then it can be a verb, like to commit a sin. But I don't think that my body, that I was created as a sinful person, like, automatically I'm going to be defiant of what my creator was. Automatically I'm not going to listen, and my body is automatically going to be either attacked by or come under the influence of some demons or the devil. Like, it just really gave me, I know that the intention was to make me act in a way that was pleasing to God, but instead it made me act in a way that was so fearful. It gave me anxiety, and it made me feel so deeply shameful that I went into like a really deep depression because I had sex with somebody. And like, so much, my dad had my mom, he was like, something is really wrong with her. Like, I've never seen her this way. Something's really going on with her. You need to talk to her. And I was like in my room for a long time because I felt like I just keep committing the same sin. Why do I want to do this? And it was just horrible.
Yeah. And even to the point, like, I've had friends talk about stories where, that feeling of guilt and that feeling of, like, either I'm not good enough or I'm never going to get to a point where I can actually be one with God and feel comfortable in the skin that I'm in, like, to the point where they would have sex and shortly after hop in the shower and take a shower thinking that they're washing the sin off, or that they're dirty to some extent. And just the whole thinking that a person is dirty because of an action is such a negative, because I mean, you're making a choice to do something that you want to do, right? And whether that choice, whether you can question that choice or not, I still don't think that it should result in a person feeling inadequate or not connected with God. Because it just like we talked about last week about the natural being of sex. If something is natural and I'm naturally having these urges, what makes it so bad and what makes it so negative? I do think there are consequences.
Yes.
To having maybe sex too early or possibly with the wrong person. I don't know, but I don't feel like the actual act can be taken as a sin. I think it was a means as control, and I think I can't really say what that control was. I feel like I should do more research about why, or maybe it was because of the keeping your body as a temple or reverencing God with your body. Maybe
I think that it was a part of the agenda to push monogamy monogamy.
Yeah.
And in a patriarchal type of society, in a patriarchal relationship, that a woman is supposed to be chaste, only have a child with one person, so that he does not question the lineage, because property in a matriarchal society before patriarchy was it was passed down through the mother's bloodline. But
Right.
then as society started to change and it became patriarchal, men wanted to pass land down to their descendants. But the only way they know for sure if a woman's descendant belongs to they father is if she's only mating with one person. But
Right.
there were so many societies that were built on, and many ancient societies where one woman would have multiple mates in the community, because it would increase the survival chances of the child, so that each man she mated with became the father of the child,
Right.
like acted as a father and took care of the child and fed the child. But I think that through religion pushing a patriarchal religions pushing monogamy led to it's the woman's job to be chaste, and the woman is the seen as the temptress, so she has to make sure that she stays demure and make sure she doesn't show her body, so that the man won't want her sexually, because it's her fault if he does want her that sexually.
Right.
So but to the point of what you said about washing your body and feeling dirty after you've had sex. Now, I understand physically there's fluids that happen, so yes, you want to wash,
Of
but you
course.
shouldn't feel like your soul is dirty, and as a result, I am unworthy of coming before my Creator. Because in Islam, like, you have to wash your body in a ritualistic way, and I learned the ritual is called ghusl. It's in Arabic, so I can't pronounce it properly, but it's a ritualistic way of washing your body. And if you do not perform this ritual correctly, your ritualistic salat, your prayer, your obligatory prayer, will not be accepted. So I had this imam tell me at a masjid, like during my during Juma, that if you have not like cleaned your body properly, all of your prayers have not even been heard, that God not even looking at you, because your body is filthy. And it just made everything about that could, but that was the last time that I went to that masjid. And from that, like, I remember my brother told me, oh yeah, you should marry this Muslim, you should marry this brother right here, he give you what you need, like he'll put you on the straight path and everything. And I'm like, well, buddy, he's the reason I'm not coming back here no more, because I feel horrible about myself. And I shouldn't I shouldn't feel like I'm just so far away from anything worthy, anything good, because I've done this thing with my body. And I think that the only true sin, the only time that I am transgressing from the divine's law, is when I abuse my body, and when I do things sexually with my body that I don't consent to, and that I'm hurting somebody else, and I'm not in the right, I'm misusing it. That's what I think is a sin.
Yeah.
But,
I also think you just made me think of something. Even the idea of sex being a sin, or I'm like displeasing to God, is for me, and just the way I've kind of morphed into understanding that, you know, and just for me, all religions, we're probably talking to the same God, right?
yeah.
Or and that's just my thinking. But even when we look at ourselves, do we look at ourselves the same way that we would look at God, right? Like, can I call myself, if I'm a creation of this being God, why can't I view myself the same way I would view the Creator? And so to think that if I'm doing something natural and having sex, which is natural and pure, why wouldn't I still be connected to the one who created me if I'm viewing myself as that very creator? You know what I mean?
Like,
Does that make
so I get what you're saying. Like, I say a lot of times, like, when in one of my rituals, when I, like, if I anoint my body with oil to connect myself with the divine within me.
Mm-hmm.
That because I was created, I too am a creator.
Right.
And because we were created by spirit, we have spirit. Like we were birthed from a human mother, so we're human. It's the same thing. You're a part of whatever you are whatever you are created from, you are connected to.
Right.
And by connecting to your body more, you are connecting to the divine more. And that was what I had to learn when I stepped back from Christianity, stepped back from Islam and the dogma surrounded by it, and the you should do this, don't do this, or this will happen to you. And once that noise quieted, then I realized that there is truth in what these religions are saying, because they're telling you that you are connected to the divine. The divine is within you, but with their rules, you're losing that connection because you're condemning yourself for being in your body, because you were told that you were created in sin, and the only way you can be saved is through this savior. The only way that you can be clean is through this ritual. And it's not. I think the only way to connect to the divine is to connect to the divine within yourself. Whenever I'm praying now or communicating with my creator, I say that I call on the manifestations of you that are within me. Amen. So that I know that the things that they are parts of my creator within me, and I only just need to open myself up to it, retreat within, and tap into it. And all of those messages are in Islam and Christianity and in Judaism, but they get in the way with their rules that make you feel horrible for who you are.
Yep. And so you just made me think of a question. Do you think that different religions and different interpretations of the religion is the reason why we call certain things a sin, or the reason why we demonize the very thing that should be natural or view as natural?
Yeah, I don't know why it started out as like, I think that certain behaviors that people were getting out of hand, people labeled it as a sin to make people not do it. Yeah. And as spiritual beings, we want to continue to be connected to our creator. So when the masses, when people who are trying to control us with laws tell us that, oh, well, if you do this, you're not connected to your creator, then I can easily control what you do by making you think that what you're doing is a horrible thing, even though it's not a horrible thing. That it can be when people are abusing it. Right. But when it's in its pure state, when you are treating it properly, like, I think that it's a matter of people controlling people. And I don't know why people are trying to control people. Like, and this has been something that has gone back from when people were first converted during colonization. This is why I started letting go more of religion, because I was wondering, why is it demonized now when it wasn't before? And people seem to live much more in harmony with themselves and nature before they started demonizing it. So I think that it started with one group of people seeing their lifestyle as better than someone else's lifestyle and telling them that their lifestyle is wrong because it's not theirs. And maybe they were good intentioned, but the result, I mean.
I definitely agree. So one more question. I'm full of questions today.
Yeah, I like it. Let's talk.
So I guess, what was that one moment or one situation, and you don't have to go into detail, but what was that one moment that you felt that you realized that having sex, or just you being a sexual being, isn't necessarily a bad thing? Like, what was that aha moment for you?
I think that
Yeah, I had to think about it myself.
It was after I started realizing that I needed to change the way I view what I was doing with myself, and reevaluate why I felt bad. Like, was there anything else about it that made me feel bad other than I just thought I shouldn't be doing it because I'm not married? Yeah. But I know the incident that made me change was when I got really depressed, and this was after grad school. I started going to church. During grad school, like the last year, I started going to church and got real, because I was really depressed, and Islam was not doing it for me. It was making me feel worse. Yeah. This man told me that I could, at the masjid, he told me that I couldn't pray for my grandmother because she was Christian, and she she was dead. I wanted to pray for her soul back in. He's like, you can't do that. Like God told you not to, don't pray for this non-believers. I'm like, that sounds crazy to me.
Right.
And then I met a guy who was at the masjid that I thought was like somebody that I really liked. So I started kind of dating him, and it didn't go well. Like my expectations were, it was like a lot of things happening around the masjid that wasn't going right. So I started going to church. And then from there, I found in the Bible that Jesus had prayed right to God, and that his message was just about just talk straight to God, that you don't need somebody in the middle. And from there, understanding that I was who I was it made me want to learn more about who I was spiritually, and these two weren't giving it to me. So that's what started a shift in my perspective about everything about myself. So from there, but it was really my relationship with Helene that really changed how I view sex. Like right before it, I was like exploring sexually. I knew what I liked sexually. I was doing new things I had never done before. And so I felt like as a woman, I know what I like. Like I'm empowered. That's how I felt. And then I got with Helene, and then I started understanding how spirituality can lend itself to sexuality too.
Absolutely.
And how having a spiritual connection with someone could enhance sex, and communication could enhance sex. I started learning more about how it was far more than physical, because before that's what I was getting. So I thought that's all it was. So it started, my relationship with Helene changed my view on sex, and me letting go of religion, I guess.
Yeah. And I so, well, to answer that one question, I don't think it was at any moment, because I feel like I always knew that there was like a breakdown between where I was and then the beliefs that I grew up in and was, kind of forced into. So I never felt, I don't know. I always felt like the outlier in a sense. Just because of the way I thought. But it wasn't until college that I really started to look at, okay, Avery, what do you want? What are you really into? What do you like? You keep going to Bible study, you keep going to church, and you're always beating yourself up over the very same things, or the very things that make me happy. I felt like I was wrong for liking certain things, and ultimately, it like you said, it just came down to me kind of getting rid of religion, excuse me, and getting better with my relationship with God and myself, and really figuring out, who I am and what I want. It was really at that moment that I figured, look, I only have one life to live, and either I'm going to live it based on a set of rules that were presented to me, or I'm going to create some for myself and kind of lead the life that I really want to lead. So I think that, I can't say it was one specific point or one specific situation, but it was kind of over time. You just I got tired of beating myself up over who I was and what I liked.
Yeah. And to add to that, you make me remember that it was still during that time when I was having a hard time at the masjid before I left, that I was thinking that I shouldn't have to keep repenting for the same sin over and over. And at that time all my life, I was always taught to fear Allah, repent because you could die, it, and you want to make sure that you ask for forgiveness. So every day I was asking for forgiveness for any sin, any future sin. Like I was really trying to I was feeling horrible for committing the same sin. And then I just got tired of that weight all the time.
Because what's the quota on us repenting? You know what I mean?
Have I not, I've been repenting for this one for a lot of years. And then the master told me that there's a special prayer you have to do to repent for your sins. And if you've not done this special prayer, like in this special way, then when you get there on the day of judgment, God gonna be like, nah, you ain't bow your head and say it in this way. So even though you asked me a whole lot, I can't really give you that forgiveness because you ain't do it in the right way.
Right.
Like, God, you know what? I'm going to let myself go of this and just decide that I actually, my creator is forgiving, and I'm just going to assume that my creator has forgiven me, and
Right.
I'm not going to hold on to it anymore. And then I stopped asking forgiveness for the same sin. And then I stopped doing this, and then I stopped doing that. I stopped doing a lot of different stuff. Like more and more things just didn't feel like I needed to do anymore, because I was establishing a true connection with my
Yeah.
creator. It
Yep.
didn't require those things. So, but again, with time, I don't know how long.
I keep looking at because we can talk all day.
Yeah. Let me okay, so I wanted to make sure that I said what I really thought that the a true the sin is if you are harming your body and not valuing yourself. That's really what the sin is, because you're going against the divinity within yourself. So if your sexual expression lowers your vibration, and by that I mean makes you feel horrible because of what you've done, then assess what it is that you did that made you feel that way, and then make another choice the next time. Don't beat yourself up about the choices that you make. Be aware of them, and don't operate out of fear, because I thought that, and it was like severe punishments that I was taught, and they used to give me nightmares and things. So fear dictated what I did with my body, but now love dictates what I do with my body, because I love myself and I love my body. I'm going to take care of it. And following the 42 laws of Ma'at, it's like an older 10 commandments, for lack of better words, but it was practiced by our ancestors in Kemet. And one of them says that I will not abuse my sex. And that's one of the, I won't abuse my sexuality. And it's important not to, and not to exploit it either, especially with so many people wearing all of these letters and badges that represent their sexual orientation. It doesn't always need to be displayed in a way that you're exploiting yourself, who you like to have sex with. And I think that it's necessary to think about in what ways are you abusing yourself with your sex, to make sure that every time you have a sexual experience, you're heightened by it, because it's a powerful tool in heightening your energy. So you have to use it correctly. But that's all I got.
I would just close by saying, you said that it was love that brought you to, the openness and the idea of sex. For me, it was the idea or the art of choice, right? The fact that I had a choice in the decisions that I wanted to make, and a choice over what I did with my body, regardless of whatever set of rules, religion, or what anybody else said. I'm making this choice, and to be okay with that choice. Because I mean, can I say that I've probably, or not even probably, that I have committed a sexual sin? I know I have. Just from this conversation, I could say that, yes, in the past, have I done something to my temple, my body, that I wasn't necessarily happy with? Sure. But the whole idea of that being wrong or invalid or a negative way of being is been so far out of my mind for so long now, because I made a choice that this is what I want, this is who I want, this is how I want to do it, and it just kind of clicked. And so I would definitely advise everybody to just really figure out what you want, figure out what's your idea of a healthy sexual relationship with yourself, with others, and I would move forward with that.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna stop it there, because, like you said, we got complaints about rambling too long. So I really enjoyed this one. I think the next one will make it like more fun stuff.
Likewise.
Yeah. But so I'll stop it there, and thanks to everybody for joining, for watching, and all of that. And until next time.
Until next time.